Welcome to LaunchBase, a fast-paced podcast exploring the latest in tech funding and product launches. In under 30 minutes, we break down key trends, interview industry leaders, and uncover what's driving the next wave of innovation. And now your host, John Radford.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of LaunchBase. This is the podcast that dives into all things tech in under 30 minutes. So I'm your host, John Radford, and each week I talk with leaders in the tech industry who are shaping the landscape. So today I am delighted to be joined by Kevin Jackson. Kevin is the founder and CEO of AI Forge, a leading incubator helping AI startups go from zero to impact. Kevin has a wealth of experience in scaling businesses, advising startups, navigating the complex world of AI innovation. AI Forge is designed to support ambitious founders looking to build truly AI-driven companies. We'll get onto that in a second. So in this episode, we're going to explore what makes a real AI project, how startups get into AI Forge, and where AI is heading. Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Hi, John. Thank you for having me. Quick correction, because our CEO will be upset if I claim his role.
My bad.
I'm the chairman of AI Forge. But apart
Gotcha.
from that, a perfect intro.
Excellent. Good. Well, I was going to ask you how the intro was. So it was nearly perfect. So is there anything you want to sort of add to that, or by way of background on yourself or AI Forge or anything really?
No, I don't think there's anything to add on AI Forge. It was word perfect.
Excellent. Well, that's what AI could do for you, mate.
Bring on ChatGPT. That's what I say.
If you get the prompt right, it gets it right. So tell us about yourself and how what you did prior to getting into AI Forge, and how you ended up where you are.
I suppose the big chunks in my life were advertising and then events. So I spent a while at Saatchi and then Grey Worldwide, the global advertising agency, working on what was then called the super global brands. So BAT, Glaxo, 3M and Mars. And then I transitioned into the event industry with both Jack Morton, renowned for their work on the opening ceremony of the Olympics in Athens, Beijing, Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, Glasgow, and huge events. And then GPJ, a truly global events organization with amazing giant clients, IBM and Cisco. And then, I don't know, I can't even remember. I suppose it was 10, 11 years ago, I decided that if I was as clever as I thought I was, I should be doing this for myself.
That's how a lot of entrepreneurs start out, right?
I obviously wasn't as clever as I thought I was, and started a number of companies, and then ended up working with Craig, who is the CEO of AI Forge at Block Dojo, a blockchain incubator. And then we transitioned into AI Forge, now exclusively AI, elite global incubator for AI startup.
Okay. And why the transition? Just because AI is where it's at?
There's a number of answers to that question. I suppose the most obvious one is, if you're working in blockchain, well, one, it's not really a business idea. Blockchain is amazing. You know, all the things we know about blockchain, chronological, immutable, you can only add to it, you can't take away, but it's not really a business. You can't really build a business. It's like a giant, amazing filing cabinet. There isn't a business on the planet that doesn't need an amazing filing cabinet, but it's not really a business. And I guess the other thing is, people in blockchain really get fed up with answering is it crypto?
Yeah.
No, crypto's on the blockchain, but blockchain isn't crypto. And we must have answered that question thousands and thousands of times. And of course, the emerging AI boom sort of saw, I think ChatGPT is sort of 2 years old now. We saw that 2.5 years ago and created AI Forge.
Okay. And so what's the general mission behind AI Forge, and talk us through what AI Forge does specifically and how it all works?
I suppose the real mission is to create sustainable AI businesses.
Okay.
We see something like, we do 3 cohorts a year. 12 weeks per cohort. And we take them really from soup to nuts in terms of what they need to know about creating a sustainable business. I guess in shorthand, and no criticism of anyone, AI founders know the bit they know, but building a business has got a lot more than just the bit that you know. And creating sustainable businesses, understanding how you create that business and build your customer base, product market fit, go-to-market strategy, even things like SEIS, even things like forming a company and opening bank accounts. In the 12 weeks that we hold the founders for, we take them from nowhere to somewhere. And in week 12, we put them in front of roughly, in round numbers, 400 pre-seed investors. And at the moment, we're getting around about 70% of all our founders, 71% of all our founders
Success
funded
rate.
in their first round, which is amazing considering, other incubators are claiming, 5-10% is a success. We're looking at 70% and want to improve on that.
Mate, that's pretty good. Probably the AI angle probably helps. But what's the typical raise that someone kind of exiting the cohort would be?
Yeah. Well, so on graduation, as I said, we put them in front of 400 pre-seed investors, and that pre-seed level is SEIS,
Okay.
and that's at 270.
Yeah.
So we look to create enough runway for 18 months by taking the least amount of money possible, because obviously that first round is your most expensive in terms of the equity you sell. We encourage our founders. There's almost no such thing as bootstrapping anymore, but to bootstrap and to take some investment to get you to your MVP and to get you to a place where you've got customers or clients.
I'm going to pick up on something you said there, which is interesting because there's loads of schools of thoughts on how to build companies and build startups in the tech space. You said there's no such thing as bootstrapping anymore. What do you mean by that?
I think I said almost no such thing.
Okay. In a sense that, again, I'm still interested to know what the angle is
of
there.
course.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that, most tech businesses and, even outside AI, they create something and then look to get funded. That's not how it was 10, 15 years ago. What you did was you found clients and you sold them things. You built the business with yours and friends and family money and just made it to a place where you created your own sustainability in terms of finance. As I said, that almost doesn't happen anymore because there's a whole ecosystem out there ready to invest in startup businesses and especially in startup AI businesses.
Yeah. So when people come to you, have they got anything? Like, have they got a no-code thing that they've hacked together themselves, or is it kind of a PowerPoint and a dream kind of thing?
All and everything. I think it depends where you come from. I think for us, there's almost 4 areas that people come from. There's either academics who've been working on an AI project for 3, 5, 8, 10 years that have decided to try and monetize that.
Yeah.
There's recent graduates from AI, the many AI courses, and that have an idea, that have a PowerPoint. There's entrepreneurs who see an opportunity to grow another business using AI. And then there's, I would say, almost 30% of founders are people from within a corporate or within a large organization who have an idea to change their life by creating a business that makes them redundant. Yeah. And there's a lot of those people that come through the program.
You may agree or disagree, but I'm interested to know, because that last use case that you gave there to me sounds one of the most interesting ones, because they're solving a problem that they're directly involved in. So they've got that kind of founder market fit thing going on. Yeah.
Without dissing the other 3 categories, it is a very interesting space. And I think their understanding of the problem and the solution is paramount. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem solution. And they understand necessarily the industry that they're working in and what is happening now and what could happen in the future to replace them. And within that, obviously, their first port of call is the organization they've come out of as a panel, as an advisor, as even a first client. So, there are many, many advantages to that.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So you guys are doing a great job. If you're getting up to 70%, that's brilliant. I can't imagine it's just I click apply and then I'm in. How do I? Or if it is, then great. I'll go.
It depends how good your AI is.
Well, I'll go and ask ChatGPT for a few good ideas, and then I'll throw them across to you, mate. If aside from that, if I have got something in terms of an idea and got some kind of credibility, how do I get in? What's the application process, and how do I maximize my chances?
John, you've got massive credibility.
Thank you very much. I just need to come up with an AI idea then.
Yeah. So For every 12-week program, we see about 400 applications, between 400 and 500 in sort of round numbers. We whittle that down to around about, we have our own AI agent in the back end of our website, Forge Finder, and that whittles it down to 70. So the AI agent is solving for market opportunity, product, team, experience. And we see about 70. And we interview 70 people, and then the 70, we whittle that down to about 40, and then we put them into a judging panel that we call the furnace. It's all burning related, AI Forge, obviously.
Yeah.
We've got the fire pit and we've got the furnace. And the furnace is our judging panel made up of the great and the good of everywhere. So Google, AWS, Cisco, all of the leaders of AI within that. And then that panel gets it down to about 35, start the 12-week program. And then we have 3-week pre-program just to make sure we've got the people we think we've got. We set them 8 or 9 tasks during that 3-week program. And if they pass all those tasks, then they enter the live program. And we usually have lost another 10 by then, so down to 25.
Yeah. So we're talking just over 5% of the initial.
Good maths. God, well done.
So your AI agent, and by the way, I love your honesty about using the AI agent to whittle it down, because, some VCs do this and some angels do this, but a lot of them sort of pretend that they don't and everything. And they should be, quite frankly, because.
Yeah, I mean, we've humanized her. We call her Annalise.
Okay, very good.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, we're an AI flipping incubator.
Right, exactly.
Of course,
Of
course, if we're not, whatever the phrase is, drinking our Kool-Aid or eating our dog food, whatever the current idiom is, we're happy to do it.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
We've tested it against, we've tested controlling that 400 down to the next round 70. Within 1 or 2 outliers, we're spot on sort of humans and AI. So we leave it up to Annalise.
Yeah, okay. And so how do I get past Annalise as the first steps?
You submit a PowerPoint.
But
so you you apply through the website, aiforge.org. You submit your form, and then we'll have a pre-interview, and then you submit your documents.
And what is Annalise looking for? What's she checking against?
A product.
Yeah.
What it is you're doing, what the market opportunity is for the thing you're doing, what the team is, and what the experience is. And then that quickly goes from 400 or 500 down to 70.
That's really cool.
But what I hope we do, and what we do is we let you know why you haven't succeeded. So
great.
we try and give feedback and let people know what they need to do, because obviously you can apply as many times as you like.
Yeah.
And even when we get down to 70, and we cut another 35 from that 70, we put those 35, the near misses, if you like, into a program we call the Fire Pit, which is our community that we're helping to educate. We bring them to events, and we let them, we put materials into the Fire Pit to help them develop and try again in the next cycle.
Amazing. So I'm into the program. What's next? You said you're helping with kind of that business construction, the idea phase, the go-to-market. Are you helping with the building out of the product and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
I
it
don't
depends.
know anyone. Well, no, not really. I don't know anyone who supports their founders in the way that we do. But within that 12-week program, there's 35 masterclasses, which cover everything from, SEIS applications, term sheets, right through to investor presentations. We help build their presentation deck and their investor deck. We give them UX, UI time. We give them development time to help build their POC, depending on what it is. So that by the time they get to the week 12, when they're in front of our pre-seed investors, they're fully formed. They understand how to run a business. They understand how to get clients. We're very hot on advisory panels, building a team of advisors that can help judge your product. By the time they get to week 12, they fully understand what it takes to run a company.
And I'm hoping you're going to say one of the things that I think is one of the key skill sets, but give me a couple of key skill sets that you think makes a truly great founder.
If I don't mention the first one, my CEO is literally going to lynch me. Resilience,
Oh, okay.
resilience,
No, well,
resilience,
yeah.
resilience.
Yeah,
First,
absolutely.
second, and third. I think the thing is, what I talk about in creating the pitch deck is the founder's story, not really where you've come from, but what is it that's happened in your upbringing, education, experience that has allowed you to see something that no one else has seen before, or to see it in a way that no one else has seen before. And then to take this amazing journey as a founder to do something that's never been done before. It's very, 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 very hard. You don't know the problems you're going to be confronted with, and they come at you in waves. It doesn't matter where you are, what your experience is, you're going to have problem after problem after problem. And resilience is the first, second, and third thing. I used to work on the McDonald's account when I was in advertising. And one of the things McDonald's said was hire the smile. Their hiring policy was hire the smile. We can teach you everything else, but what we can't teach you is attitude and smiling and being customer centric. And I think it's the same with founders and resilience. You've got to have that inner drive and that ability to just keep getting up. What do they call it? Bounce back ability.
Bounce back a bit.
I think that's it's vital for us.
That McDonald's thing was
with
interesting.
Go
McDonald's was one of my first jobs, and the manager at the time said, "You know what? I'd look for two things in good employees," and he said empathy and hustle. And I think that goes to that kind of smiling thing and sort of being empathetic and whatever. But yeah, resilience is huge. Don't get into this thinking that you're going to have a good work-life balance and that it's going to be an easy ride, because it's going to be quite the opposite.
I sort of take issue with the work-life balance thing as well, because I think when you talk about balance, what we are talking about usually is 50-50. There's a balance point, but also the balance point depends on you. If you're at a time in your life when you want to work 75% and be 25% at home,
Sure.
and then there's going to be times in your life when you want to be 25% at work and 75% at home. The balance is down to you. It's what you think and it's what you want. And I think the sort of myth of work-life balance is, that balance point changes wherever you are in your sort of time of life.
It does.
When you're younger and have massive amounts of energy, you can afford to have almost, a lot at work and
Throw yourself
some
into
social. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of slightly a misnomer to keep talking about work-life balance, because it's all down to you and it's what you feel. It's where your balance point is.
Yeah. But what we can categorically say is that it's going to be a roller coaster ride and there's going to be ups and downs, right?
Yeah, massively. I think it's very interesting. And even founders who were in, what are we now? We're in cohort 5. We're at week 8 week 8 of 12 in cohort 5. And even founders who were in cohort 1, which is now 2 years ago, a bit more than 2 years ago, I think, are still on the roller coaster. It doesn't really, I don't think it really calms down until you're in sort of year 4 or 5.
Yeah. And actually, interestingly, how are some of those kind of early cohort startups getting on? What stage are they at? And, do we have any sort of success stories and to
We
brag
don't.
about?
I would love to say that, we've done that, but it's, we're still only 2 years in, and the first cohort is only 2 years old. So I think what we've got now is 34 companies, because we take 6% equity. The deal is we do all that, you give us 6% of your equity.
Sure.
We've got 34 companies that are still active and alive. We've got some really big success stories coming. There's some major funding coming for 2 of them, and there's a potential exit for 1 of them. So they're in there somewhere, but nothing we can really talk about.
Okay. No, that's fine. So let's talk about AI, because that's what you guys do, and you're backing AI projects. But let's there's definitions of AI, and it can be quite loose, and people just kind of throw it around a bit willy nilly. How do you guys define what is a truly AI project, versus just a bit of automation and kind of traditional software?
Yeah, I don't think we talk about it as plugins and automation. What we talk about all the time is, people say it's the internet, but I think it's even more fundamental than that. For us, it's electricity.
Right.
in as much as it's going to be everywhere all the time. Sometimes you're going to see it like in a light bulb, and sometimes you're not going to see it in a plug. But every business at every level is going to have some AI capability. And the businesses we're building are fundamental AI businesses.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter whether it's AI that tells you as a farmer when to plant, when to feed the soil, when to crop rotate, what the weather is coming up. It doesn't matter whether it's logistics and planning so that drivers can know where to drive, when to drive, how to drive. It doesn't matter whether it's med tech, where we've got cancer delivery, an AI engineered cancer delivery mechanism. It doesn't matter whether it's a black box compliant for banks where they're compliant. I don't know if you know, but banks get fined lots of money for not being compliant almost on a daily basis. We've got a black box compliance tool that makes sure they're drawing government data, industry data, the bank's own data, and ensuring all the documents are compliant 24/7. It doesn't matter whether it's, we've got an amazing Christian app that helps build congregations and gives you, we've got everything and everything. There's almost an industry sector we haven't got an AI in, and there's almost an industry sector that isn't interested in the AIs that we're developing.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually on those, you mentioned some really interesting sectors that I'm a big fan of for AI disruption. But are there any in particular that you think are really sort of quite nice sectors that are kind of ripe for disruption in the AI front, that are a bit late to the party, still lots of opportunity?
Well, no, the big ones that almost everyone knows are medtech and fintech, so medical and finance. But I think now that we're talking to a different audience, I mean, we have a program called Innovation Hackathons. And what we are doing with that program is, so all of the corporate clients, all the big brands that are in AI, know AI backwards. There is a lot of businesses out there that are standing on the precipice of AI and not knowing which way to go, which is very interesting for us. And what we do is we go into those businesses and we say something like, look, let's come in and consult with you. Let's find your top 5 problems that we could solve with AI. We then understand those problems. We brief the team. We use our fire pit community for this. So we get 100 people together. We brief them on the 5 problems facing, let's call it Domino's Pizza. They then spend the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with Coca-Cola and pizzas and develop AI solutions to those 5 problems. The client comes back in on a Sunday night and judges the first, second, third as they see it, and we give them some cash. But what it does is it allows the corporate client, the brand, to see what's possible with AI, because unless they're heavily involved in it, they don't understand the depth and the breadth of what AI could do for them. And they don't understand how quickly those solutions can be scaled.
Well,
go on.
With a transformational piece like that, there's a kind of a barrier with those sort of mid-market to enterprise level clients, isn't there? Where it's kind of they're resistant to the change because it's the implementation of it. They're worried that it will take ages, and then they'll be pushed back internally and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, but I guess the other side of that coin is if you're not developing your AI solutions, you're going to be left behind, because there are people in, let's call it, garages all over the world developing AI solutions that are going to take you out of business. And I think what we're doing is giving those corporate clients an ability to look in, to see what's possible at a very low cost, and then take out those solutions, embed them in their business or pay for them to go through the program, where we can help scale that idea into a sustainable business, as we do with everything else. And I think that is very popular with the corporate clients we're talking to.
Yeah, it's super relevant right now. It's very similar to the sort of AI audit service that we do for kind of the mid-market size companies as well. It's a popular thing, and 2025 is kind of do or die. This is the year to implement.
Yeah. And if you're, and I guess for us, and with no criticism or judgment at all, I think, if you're part of an organization, that's why, large clients use advertising agencies or event agencies, because they're outside the structure of the client and can think a bit freer and maybe more creatively,
right? Or,
don't have the management reporting woes that everyone has. And I think once you're outside of the business and you start developing innovative solutions for that business, you're an adjunct to the innovation team or the R&D team who aren't looking at AI the way we're looking at AI or the way that people outside the business are looking at it.
Yeah, super interesting. So let's talk about 2025 and beyond. That you mentioned it, AI bit, just because I'm conscious of time, we're getting close to wrapping up. So I'd like to wrap up with just a little insight from Kevin into the future of not just AI, but AI in business and how you see things panning out. I know you mentioned it's going to be like electricity. I quite like that analogy. I might steal that if that's okay.
Thank you. Everyone does. When I say it, people go, "No, is that true?" And then they use it. So yeah, it's yours.
I will totally credit you, but I am going to steal it. But yeah, so we've got AI is going to be like electricity, but 2025, 26 and beyond, where are we heading? Is everybody going to lose their jobs? Developers going to be replaced by robots?
Has that really ever happened?
No.
I think employment is a bit like a balloon. If you push it in somewhere, it'll come. A big lump will come somewhere else. And of course, okay. There's millions, I would think, of back office services that are going to be taken out with AI. Even in terms of IPOs, there's a business in the cohort. Can't remember which one now. Is doing due diligence that cuts that sort of 18 months down, or year down to months.
Right.
To bring a company to IPO. And I think all of those back office services are going to be swept up by AI. But as everyone says, you can't really lose the human touch and all that. And as amazing as we all think ChatGPT is, it's just maths. And you still need human interaction and human interface to make those maths look good and sound good. So, creativity and problem solving in that way is going to be at a premium. The human thing, HR, of course, processes are going to be taken, but the human touch of HR and, recruitment is still going to be there, even when people are, recruiting using AI, and even sales. We saw a thing the other day where it's a co-pilot for things like this. If you're selling over Zoom, it gives you it's looking at your customer and saying they're not listening, they've turned off. You need to say, all those things, but it's still a human thing. It's going to come back to more human, not less human. Yeah, it's going to become not more robotic, less robotic.
My little catchphrase is that AI is here to allow humans to be more human.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah. And the 4-day working week is a reality. It's already being tested all over the place. So.
Yeah. Kevin, it's been fascinating chatting to you. Remind us of how people can get in touch and get into AI Forge. Where's the best place for them to start?
.org is our website, and that's the best place to find everything. There's lots of testimonials from past founders. There's lots of videos around our events, and then there's the application form to join both the cohort as a founder, or join the mentor pool, or get registered as an investor.
So, right, Kevin, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to LaunchBase. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share. Stay tuned for more insights on tech, funding, and product launches. See you next time.